is the book of Isaiah, chapter 53, verse 6. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned every one to his own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. So, check it out. Try to keep this short. The star rim frame. What is this? The hexagram or six-pointed star is a symbol of ancient Rimfa, also known as Chuen, who is also known as Moloch, which is another representation of Nimrod, husband of Semiramis, queen of Babylon. This symbol is not Jewish. The Rothschilds, who are a papal knights of Malta, put it on the flag of Israel, despite heavy opposition from the Jewish people. What does it mean? What is this talisman of Saturn? The star was mentioned and condemned by God of Israel in the book of Amos, chapter 5, verse 26. And it was called by him the star of your God, Moloch, or otherwise called Chuen. This is Amos, chapter 5, verse 26. But ye have borne the tabernacle of your Moloch, and Chuen, your images, the star of your God, which ye have made for yourselves. So the Israelites and Amos had this symbol in the wilderness when Moses took them out of Egypt. And it was also made in Acts 7 and 43 during the time of Christ. It was reinstituted under the Romans. Here we see it was called the Star of Remphan. All these names were referred to the demon god, quote unquote, Saturn. Isaiah 5 and 20. Woe unto those who call evil good and call good evil. So, when the two become one, Satan wants to ruin God's creation, which are human beings, and he wants to be looked at as a god. They want to be like the Most High so bad they will chase problems, they will cause problems so that they can quote unquote fix it. So they can be seen as heroes to the masses. 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. Satan himself comes as an angel of light. Hosea 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So, the occult will gain control of the world by bankrupting the economy. The occult own most businesses. They own 97% of all the stores you walk into, and they are going to destroy them on purpose, like they're currently doing. They are currently in the process of bankrupting the world. The mindset of these Luciferians, the reasoning for all this is because when the economy crashes, nothing will be of any value, which will be able for them to institute, which is called the Great Reset. So let's go back to the hexagram and the pentagram. So, the hexagram and the pentagram was and is used in practices of occult and ceremonial magic and is attributed to the 7 old planets outlined in astrology. Well, these planets represent fallen angels, and I want to show you guys something real fast. This is the book of Enoch. This is chapter 7. And I'm going to start at verse 4. Well, actually, let's back it up. Verse 1, chapter 7, verse 1, book of Enoch. It happened after the sons of men had multiplied in those days, that daughters were born to them, elegant and beautiful. And when the angels, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored of them, saying to each other, Come, let us select for ourselves wives from the progeny of men, and let us beget children. And let us beget the children. Then their leader, Samayaza, said to them, I fear that you may perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise, and that I alone shall suffer for so grievous a crime. But they answered him and said, We all swear and bind ourselves by mutual execrations that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. Then they swore all together, and all bound themselves by mutual execrations. Their whole number was 200, who descended upon Ardis, which is at the top of Mount Armin. Boom. So what does this mean? So the fallen angels that fell with Lucifer, they all made an agreement with each other and said, we are all making this conscious decision to disobey God, to come down to earth to pervert evil. Okay, boom. Traditionally, the hexagram can be seen as a combination of 4 elements. Fire, which is symbolized as an upwards pointing triangle, while air, its elemental opposite, is also an upwards pointing triangle, but with a horizontal line through its center. Water is symbolized as a downwards pointing triangle, but with a horizontal line through its center. When you combine the symbols of fire and water, you get a six-pointed star, aka a hexagram. The same follows for when you combine the symbols of air and earth. When you combine both hexagrams, you get what's called a double hexagram. Thus, a combination of elements is created. Illicit sex was used and has always been used for ancient rituals to not only defy the order of God, but to summon disembodied spirits. Sexual magic is ancient. Whenever we go against the natural use of God's creation, we are sinning. But the sin is not like sins of mere actions that cause us to miss the mark, but in sexual sins, your own body is involved. What does this mean? 5 phases. You got fire, earth, metal, water, and wood. Becoming one with the person and forming a soul tie happens during sexual acts. Becoming one with multiple partners causes a deviation and division in one's mind and heart. This leads to infidelity in marriage if you're married, as well as promiscuity in singles if you're not married. This makes it hard to envision being with one person and thus makes marriage harder to conceptualize. 1 Corinthians 6:18, flee fornication. Every sin that a man doeth is without the body, but he that committeth fornication sinneth against his own body. So let's go into it a little bit deeper. Technologies of the Antichrist. We've seen the terminologies that are used repeatedly over and over again to describe someone of great stature. Antichrist, beast, goat, God, G, Grand Master, Grand Wizard, Hova, Jesus, the One, Antichrist, which Antichrist means in place of Christ. So, ritual praise. A religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. The ritual summons the gods or demons, but the blood satisfies them. This is where child sacrifice started. This is where child sacrifice actually began, to pay for your gift from the gods. So in order for you to receive the power from the fallen angels, you must sacrifice your gift from the God who created you. You must pay with a human life like Cain did. Abel was the first human sacrifice to Satan in the Bible. Occult rituals. Dancing, sex, chanting, astral, false tongues, tattoos, marks, self-inflicted pain, ritual pain, cutting, bleeding, drug use, drunkenness, transcendental meditation, yoga, homosexual sex is a ritual praise to the gods. During the ritual music, it's important because the rituals basically gives you a rite of passage, and the music that's playing, the frequencies are needed to summon these gods and cross them over into our plane. And so we summon whom we serenade. Taking the music of a song with a message that was negative and trying to change the message to positive is impossible to do because your brain has already accepted the song's message. Your mind has stamped the song's frequencies and related them to the original message. It is impossible to change the stamp. Even though you sing new words with your mouth, your body and chemicals have recorded the music, and thus the original message is still prevalent in your mind. The industry knows that you can sing or speak positive words but emit negative energy at the same time. This is why they give their artists a positive song every now and then. But because their intent is evil, they are able to emit resonant frequencies that defile you, even with a positive message. They can even copy the resonant frequencies of the Illuminati and put positive lyrics over them. This is the same as having a clean version versus an explicit one. The intent of the music remains, and it changes your thought process. It's a trick to make you resonate to the industry's standards. You can't redeem music. You can't redeem the hexagram. You can't redeem the pentagram because it's occultic and it's not matter. It's a particle. You can't redeem hip-hop and secular music because it's an idea, not a living soul. Only man is a living soul. If you could redeem hip-hop and these secular music artists or music that they produced, then you would be able to redeem animals, devils, and demons. None are living souls, only man. This is why God's music must originate with his intent. It cannot be copied. Evil in music possesses evil energy and intent. It's not about the words as much as it is the intent. People react to the intent or the energy of the artist, and they resonate frequencies as well, not just the lyrics.